Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about something very important for NEET exams. Again, I want to make this point very clear that this is a definite question for in your NEET exams. You can skip anything, but you should not skip. But even if you wish to skip something, do not skip regulation of kidney function. It's a very high yield topic. Now, before understanding the regulation, I would just like to highlight on some few basic things. Now, in your textbook, you would have just mentioned here and there is decrease in blood volume. Sometimes you would have mentioned BP. Sometimes you would have talked about GFR and all that. Everything is a consequence of each other. For example, see, when there is decreased blood volume, meaning the plasma volume is decreased. When the plasma volume is decreased, my BP will decrease gradually, right? When there is decrease in blood volume, gradually there's going to be decrease in blood pressure. Why is there a decrease in blood pressure? Because there will be decrease in blood flow. Take it like this way. Okay, so when there is decrease in blood pressure, there will be decrease in blood flow. Since there is decrease in blood flow, there will be decrease in blood pressure. Because what is blood pressure? See, suppose this is the blood vessel, blood is flowing, the blood is going to exert some pressure on the walls of the blood vessel. So the pressure exerted by the flowing blood on the walls of the blood vessel, that is called as blood pressure, right? It is the force exerted by the flowing blood on my blood vessel. This is called BP. Now, when there is decrease in blood volume, there will be decrease in blood flow. When there is decrease in blood flow, automatically there will be decrease in blood pressure. When there is decrease in blood pressure, there is decrease in GFR. Okay, because again you can attribute directly to this. When there's decrease in blood flow, there will be decrease in GFR because we all know the input will decrease now, right? If I say cardiac output is 5 liters, then the GFR is normal. If there is decrease in blood volume, there is decrease in blood flow, meaning this 5 liters can come to 4 liters. So again, there will be decrease in GFR. So just take home point is all these parameters BP, GFR, all these are directly proportional. All these are directly proportional. This is the thing that you must know at the first point. Now let us talk regarding our NEET exams. So regulation, the kidney functions can be regulated by some hormones that can be from hypothalamus, or there can be regulation by a substance that is from the kidney itself, from a apparatus called as JGA, that is juxtaglomerular apparatus. Now, juxta means it refers to close to, nearby, proximity. Okay, all these words, they are synonyms of juxta. So, juxtaglomerular apparatus, there is an apparatus which is close to glomerular, hence the name juxtaglomerular apparatus. And we have also have heart that is going to play some role in regulation of kidney functions. So, we'll just see what are the players from each of these. So, if you take from hypothalamus, will be having an hormone called ADH. So ADH is a posterior pituitary hormone, but where is the stimulus coming from? It is from the hypothalamus. So we'll see how it happens. So ADH is a posterior pituitary hormone, antidiuretic hormone, or also called as you all know, it is vasopressin. From juxtaglomerular apparatus, we have got an hormone called renin, R-E-N-I-N. Here I would like to add one more point. In our body, we have got two renin. In your English, you would have learned something called homophones. Same sound, different spelling, right? Same thing. This renin, it is with respect to kidney function, and renin, it is with respect to digestion. It helps in digestion of milk proteins. So this renin, renin, it's an extra information. This renin, especially it is found in no infants up to age of, can say 1.5 to 2 years, who are on breastfeeding. So the breast milk is containing a special protein called as casein, which is a calcium-rich milk. And for digestion of that protein casein in the breast milk, we need a special hormone called renin, R-E-N-N-I-N. That is renin. And here what we are dealing is renin, R-E-N-I-N. From heart, we have got something called as atrial natriuretic factor or ANF, atrial natriuretic factor. Now, if you take ADH, it was anti-diuretic factor. Now, there are two terms here which are ending with a suffix uretic. One is diuretic, another one is natriuretic. Please understand, diuretic is loss of water in urine. When I say there is loss of water in urine, I call them diuresis. So the process of excretion of urine, water along the urine is called as diuresis. Loss of water of sodium ions in the urine is called as natriuresis. Okay. Now, what we need to understand next is when all these mechanisms are going to come into play. Now, I told you decrease in blood volume, decrease in blood flow, BP, GFR, all these are a consequence of each other, meaning all those are directly proportional. So we will have in our body either the kidney function can be affected due to decrease in BP or due to increase in BP. Either of these is possible, right? Either decrease in BP or increase in BP. Now, what are the mechanisms that will come into play when there is decrease in BP? Meaning, the stimulus is decrease in BP for which of the following mechanisms? It is 1 and 2. Meaning, when there is decrease in BP in our body, there's going to be decrease in GFR also. When such a condition prevails, we will have ADH from the hypothalamus and posterior pituitary and renin from the juxtaglomerular apparatus that is going to act on our body on some specific cells, and the net result will be increase in BP. As a result, there will be increase in GFR, or the GFR is brought back to normal. So this is the stimulus, this is the result. Similarly, when there is increase in BP, there will be increase in GFR. That is again serious for our body. So that time we will have atrial natriuretic factor from the heart that will act upon the specific cells, and it is going to decrease the BP and then ends for the GFR also. So the first thing that you must understand is this. So in our body, if there is decrease in BP, what are the mechanisms coming into play? And there's increase in BP or increase in GFR, what is the mechanism that is going to alter this? This is the first thing that you must have. With this, we will just try to study each of them. So first one, we will try to talk about ADH. Now, what is the stimulus for ADH? That is decrease in BP, I have told. So whenever there is fluid loss, meaning, see, the hormone, if you take the full form, it is anti-diuretic hormone, which means what it is going to be opposite to diuresis. So when there is excess of diuresis, that is excess loss of water through the urine, what is going to happen? There is change in plasma osmolarity, right? So this change in plasma osmolarity, it is sensed by or received by some receptor called as osmoreceptors. So osmoreceptors are a group of receptors that is going to sense the change in the blood flow or the blood volume. To make it very simple, it is going to detect the changes in the blood volume. So once the osmoreceptors are stimulated, the signals are going to reach the hypothalamus. From hypothalamus, it acts on posterior pituitary, and there is release of antidiuretic hormone or what is called as ADH. Now this ADH, it is going to act on the distal convoluted tubules and your collecting ducts, and it is going to promote water reabsorption. It is going to promote water reabsorption. Now, what is diuresis? What was the cause of this ADH stimulation? Was the fluid loss or the diuresis, that is water elimination. But now if you observe, what we have got is the water reabsorption. So it is against the stimulus, that is it is against the diuresis, hence the name antidiuretic. So there is water reabsorption. So gradually what is happening in my blood, there is increased water now. There is increased water, which means the blood volume is going to increase gradually. Since my blood volume is increasing gradually, the BP will increase and also the GFR. BP increases and there is increase in GFR also. So one thing that is important for your NEET exam will be the main role of ADH. So it acts on the distal convoluted tubules and the collecting ducts, and it is going to increase the water reabsorption. As a result, there is increase in blood volume, increase in BPNs for the GFR. This is the first thing that you must know with respect to ADH. Okay, now let us talk about the next stimulus or the next thing, that is from your juxtaglomerular apparatus. Juxtaglomerular apparatus. Now, again, we have discussed about the stimuli, right? So, stimuli is the same, that is decrease in BP, or there is going to be fluid loss or something, that is decrease in BP. When there is decrease in BP, we have got release of renin from your juxtaglomerular apparatus. We have got release of renin from juxtaglomerular apparatus. So what this renin does, see, it's a very interesting thing. Now, from our liver, whenever there is decrease in BP or there is some changes in blood volume and all that, there is going to be a protein called angiotensinogen. When I say gen, which means an inactive form, okay, they are called as zymogens, they are inactive proteins. So whenever there is change in this blood pressure and all that, especially when there is decrease in BP, this angiotensinogen from the liver, it gets converted to angiotensin 1. This is facilitated by an enzyme called angiotensinogen converting enzyme, in short, ACE enzyme, from the lungs. Even though there were some studies during this pandemic that this COVID-19 virus, it gets into the lungs, sits on the ACE receptors. So ACE is nothing but an enzyme which is going to convert angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1. So this angiotensin 1 is going to circulate in the blood. Now, this renin, what is the purpose of secretion of renin from juxtaglomerular apparatus? Is this renin is going to convert angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. What it is going to do? It is going to convert angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. So when there is decrease in BP, simultaneously there are two things happening. One thing is the conversion of angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1. At the same time, there is synthesis and the secretion of renin from juxtaglomerular apparatus. So these two are meeting each other, and angiotensin 1 is getting converted to angiotensin 2. This angiotensin 2, what it is going to do is it is going to act on the blood vessels and causes vasoconstriction. Now, what is this vasoconstriction? Is decrease in the blood vessel lumen area. Okay, that is decrease in the blood vessel lumen area. Now, you all know the physics concept that pressure is inversely proportional to area. So, when there is vasoconstriction, there is increase in BP. There is increase in BP. So, what is happening? Decrease in BP, two things. Conversion of angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1. So, and release of renin from JGA, and this renin acts on angiotensin 1, gets converts angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. That acts on blood vessels, causes vasoconstriction, and there is increase in BP. This system is called as RAS system, that is renin angiotensin system. Now, in our body, we have got something also called as RAAS. What is that? RAAS, that is renin angiotensin aldosterone system. If you remember from chemical control and coordination, what is this aldosterone? It is a mineralocorticoid. So when the BP is too low, this angiotensin 2 constriction of blood vessels alone cannot be the a powerful force. Okay, meaning the angiotensin 2 or vasoconstriction alone cannot increase the BP. So what will this angiotensin 2 do is this will act on adrenal cortex, stimulate the release of mineralocorticoid, that is aldosterone, that will increase the sodium reabsorption. As a result, blood volume increases. As a result, BP will increase. So, angiotensin 2 can do two things. On blood vessels, causes vasoconstriction, or act on adrenal cortex to stimulate aldosterone. And you know the effects, right? Aldosterone in turn causes increased sodium reabsorption. As a result, both of these are going to increase the BP, right? So this is the second important regulation that you must know. So both of these were concerned with no increasing the BP. So there was stimulus was decrease in BP, and now we have got increase in BP. Now, what will happen if the stimulus is increase in BP? So, which means there is excess of blood volume, there's excessive blood flow, there is excessive BP, there's excessive GFR. When such is a stimulus, from our atrium, we have got an hormone called atrial natriuretic factor. This atrial natriuretic factor is going to cause vasodilation of the blood vessels, which means what? It is going to increase the lumen area. As a result, it promotes natriuresis, meaning excessive sodium loss from the or through the urine. So what will happen? There is loss of electrolyte, there is decrease in blood volume, so BP will be normalized, right? So this is with respect to A and F. So the first two that we saw was on increasing the BP. So that too works so hard to increase the BP. What does the stimulus? Decrease in BP or decrease in GFR and all that. When there's increase in BP, we have A and F that acts and increases the or that decreases the BP and the GFR. So very important concept, definite question for your NEET. I hope you understood. If you have any doubts, you can post on the comment section. Thank you all. See you in the next video.